have you heard of the concept of Shu-Ha-Ri?
No.
Okay, so I hadn't either, but it kind of makes sense. It's from Japanese martial arts. I don't know exactly what martial arts, and this is what I was saying. I was in a training the other day, and the guy was talking through, and he's a good trainer, really good dude, and talked about the concept of Shu-Ha-Ri in Agile. But I kind of saw it, and I went straight away, like, dude, this is like way broader, and obviously the concept of it is supposed to be broader. So and I'll get this up so make sure I don't get this wrong. I went, that's actually, when I've seen my concept of learning go well, I've seen it go in that path. When I haven't seen it go in that well, and I don't really transform information into knowledge, it goes this path. Mm-hmm. So Shu-Ha-Ri. So Shu-Ha-Ri means obey fundamental principles. Ha is detach and self-recognition, and Ri is separate and transcend. What does that actually mean, right? So basically, it's supposed to be the evolution of whether an action or an event or how you're doing to get to a better place or transcending. The way that I kind of articulated that back there was Shu, obeying fundamental principles. It's just basically whatever that you're looking at, just understanding the principles, like understanding the rules, basically, the structure. So if we're talking swimming, so we'll go back to the example of swimming, for me it would be like, okay, just understanding, not to the mechanical nature. Actually, I'm going to pull it back. I'm going to say handstands because I don't know how to do handstands. Okay. I'll be like a Shu, right? So knowing the principles. For me there, it's not learning the tip about looking at the finger when I'm doing a one-handed. No, it's the fundamentals of, hey, the fundamentals should be, you should be doing a handstand against the wall, and you should be positioning your body in this way, and you should try and not be using, pushing as much as you can out of your shoulders. That's the fundamentals at that level, at that beginner level, and it's first knowing those fundamental things. So Shu is get those right, and so get them right so you can continue to do them right to on like a subconscious level. And so this is how it related back straight away to Josh Waitson's thing, because Josh's point in The Art of Learning is you should be learning enough to the point that you are doing things subconsciously, and then you can focus consciously on other things while that's going on around. And that's how you can kind of make the circles smaller in what you're learning to get really precisely better at things that you want to do. So first, obviously, Shu, obey the fundamental principles. Now, if I was following this, and you'll see, I didn't do the handstands. I was just like going at it. I was just jumping up. But if I was to go back again and be like, okay, look at this. I go, okay, follow the fundamentals. There's a reason they're there. Do on the wall. Practice the actual positioning. Push from the shoulders, right? So then the second level would be actually detach and self-recognition. So the way I translated it, and they were talking about this as well, that's when you know the rules. Now you can start playing around a little bit with the rules. So you can go, okay, I can do a handstand. Okay, now what's that detachment to go, oh, actually, if I look at my hand here when I'm doing one hand, that's that level, right? So that's where I think you're at. You're at that ha level where it's, you've got all the fundamentals. You don't even think about the fundamentals when you're doing handstands anymore. You're not really, sometimes consciously, you're like, oh, make sure I'm pushing up with my shoulders. Make sure I'm doing this positioning. By the by, though, I'm pretty sure what you're doing is more, you're really focusing in on that specific thing. Everything else is subconscious.
Yeah.
So there's that level, right? So obviously, I didn't get there. But then there's the final one, which is Ri, of learning, of the art of learning. Not the art of learning, just this particular concept, which is separating and transcending. And so that's where, let's just get to the point that you're not just beyond subconsciously know the things that you're learning, but you know all the rules behind it, and then you can start almost breaking the rules or doing other things. So in the past, maybe with the handstands, you've been like, oh, well, I really have to push out of my shoulders. Maybe you find, actually, if I don't for this particular movement, it's actually even better. So you can start breaking the rules of it and going even beyond. So translating it all the way back to the art of learning for me is, okay, a good way that I'm thinking through is, okay, just understand all the basic fundamentals. That's specific to it, not all of them, but just specific to that particular thing that I want to do. Again, back to my point for Adobe, like, learning just the basic concept of like, this is what this is the cinematography feel, this is what the settings do. Awesome. Then the next level of Ha would be, okay, now that you've understood that, go beyond and start going specific circles. So now if you ask me, put this title on here and make it do this, I can do that very easily. I don't even have to think about it. But now I can concentrate specifically and be like, oh, what if I want to get the top part of the word to like go highlighted or be brighter than the bottom? Okay, that's a little extra learning piece. And then the relearning would be that continuation of, okay, you understand it so well, you can start breaking it down and be like, oh, well, if you use this other random thing that normally isn't getting used for this, you can make the same effect. And now you have the freedom to do all this other stuff. And in that sequence, I feel like I just don't do that basic level of understanding the principles well enough, go into action mode of doing stuff, which can get you to a particular place, but never beyond into the level of really knowing something in the learning. And sometimes that's okay. But that's where I come back to, like with crypto Web 3.0, that's not going to be okay. Like that's something that I want to be able to be knowledgeable on, because I feel like in the future it's going to be a massive payoff. Awesome. But the way I'm going about it, I'm not getting out of that shoe level. It's like I'm just like I'm not even doing that well. I'm just taking actions and practicing, and it's not letting me evolve to go beyond that level.